Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have seen the movie about the world's scariest clown. Okay, the world's second scariest clown. Okay, the world's third scariest clown. He just gives you diabetes, that's not scary. I, of course, am talking about the 2017 release of It. Now, of course, I recently reviewed the original miniseries. I have not read the book. I read part of the book, and then somebody got sick and wanted to read the book because they were sick, so I gave them my copy and never got it back. So I did not get to read the book. But it is the story of a group of people living in a town cursed by a creature, a human predator. And this predator that dines on humans can take the shape of a number of creatures, including a hideous, scary clown. We're all kind of familiar with that, so no real spoiler alerts there. It is just one of those horror movies. I believe there have been multiple adaptations, but the one with John Ritter is the best known, and this is the modern day adaptation. And of course, it is a long movie, and it is a great movie. And I know I hate movies. I hate almost every movie I see. This is one I did not hate. I will have to say that from a standpoint of movie making, this is a very long movie at 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I'm really saying, guys, I mean, money-grubbing executives did not say, why don't we chop this into 2 movies and just make that more money? Because I really think this could have been 2 movies and they could have made more money, because there's a lot of story here. I love this movie. It was a really great movie. I took my brother to see this movie. He enjoyed it as well. Great film, but I do have to say, it is hard to discern which character is which. There's not enough getting to know the characters. I didn't feel I could remember half of them. You know, I remember there was the germaphobe kid. He was from the original. The main character's name was Bill, although Bev, the only female youngster in this film, completely steals the show. And she's played by Sophia, either Lilith or Leas. I don't know which. But again, Bev here is a would-be sexy character because she's only, she's supposed to be like 15, and in real life she is 15. And you look at her and it's like, okay, yeah, I really wish there was an adult character there because she's cute. I mean, you know, you feel a little creepy looking at her, but okay. And I will say this much to the directors. Yes, she stole the show. Great character. Really loved what was going on, and probably the best fleshed out character in this particular film. But, guys, did you need the booty shot? I mean, that's where I'm like, dude, this is creepy. It's a shot of a 15-year-old girl's rear end. I'm going to grant she's wearing jeans, but yeah, you know, this is that moment where it's like you see this girl from behind, you're like, hey, she's pretty hot for a short girl, then you walk, oh, yeah, no, jailbait, not messing with that. And I mean, hey, as an adult, you know, look, these things happen, particularly in the modern day. I remember back when I was a kid in the 80s, actually 15-year-olds were getting pretty mature looking. Yeah, still creeps me out to this day. In any case, now another standout, of course, is your Pennywise, Bill Skarsgård. And you look at Bill there and you say, is Bill a legitimate replacement for Tim Curry and his It? Well, yes. I am going to say this flatly. I think they changed things because they wanted to change things. And there is an overuse of CGI in the film It. But Skarsgård, he brings a very excellent character. There's a nod to the Bela Lugosi, I believe, is Dracula, the black and white Dracula with the whole glowing eyes bit. And they do that in this movie, but they do it 10 times better. It's much cooler. It's much creepier. And I guess audiences back in that black and white day probably felt it was pretty creepy and creepy enough. But in the modern day, we're a little different. So I would have to point that out. Yeah, I mean, that's a legitimate complaint. Again, like I say, the point where I disliked this movie the most is that there was too much CGI. And, I mean, the use of practicals, I grant he's an otherworldly being, and the CGI is probably worth it, but I mean, there were scenes where the CGI looks really cool, and the scenes where the CGI just looks like CGI to me, and I didn't care for that. I have seen better CGI in lesser movies. That's why I'm putting that out there. Again, it's a minor complaint. It didn't kill the movie for me. Another point was that, yeah, again, I said before, I feel this could have been chopped into 2 movies, because also there's a lot of stuff going on that just, it's like, okay, I get it. It's there. I remember I heard another reviewer say there's a stomach carving scene. Some bullies are bullying this one particular character, the character of Ben, and he said that was totally intense, and I'm going, well, I don't feel the intensity myself, but I don't know if I'd want to feel the intensity because this is child abuse being ignored by adults, and it doesn't set me off. Now, one of the problems I do detect here is that I remember when I read the first part of the book that this was essentially Bill's story, and the reason it is Stuttering Bill is what he's called in the book. Forget the actor's name as well, but in the book, it's his brother Georgie who is the first character we see killed, and that's kind of why it's his book, because that's the setting, that's what it's followed. That's why these kids are motivated to do what they do in this film, is because this guy cannot let his brother go. He has the inability to let his brother go. So, I mean, you see the brother dies in the first scene, first sequence, and you're going after, he's going, I just won't let it go, I want my brother back, and then you've got that moment where, of course, he progresses as a character. I don't want to give anything away. Really tough not to do that. When you love a movie this much, it's really tough not to let things go. And yeah, so there's the thing. This really should have been Bill's movie, and I think that actor, because he was very, very heavily challenged, he was kind of the weakest. And I'm not saying this, I mean, this actor is definitely going to do very well in life. He's going to be a great actor, but, the stuttering was not as believable to me, but then I grew up with a stutterer. I have had stuttering problems myself, so I'm very close to that material. And I've actually once did a project on stuttering and the neurology behind stuttering. I've actually seen documentaries on it because of my personal experience, my interest. So yes, I will say that particular character probably the weak spot of the film for me, but it didn't kill it. It was maybe a B- performance, just not an A performance, whereas the other characters were a little stronger in what they portrayed. From a writing standpoint, if you're going to have this many characters, because you had the primary villain played by Sarsgaard of Pennywise, you had 7 heroes, their supporting cast of characters, which each kind of need their moment, and then you had the secondary antagonist villains. This movie is a little on the cluttered side. This is, again, one of the reasons why I would have to say you really need to cut this into 2 films, is because there's just too much material to cover. I mean, remember, it was something like 900 pages, and you cannot squish 900 pages into the 2 films that they planned. Did I mention that, by the way? This is the kids' version of it. There is an adult's version of it, set 26 years or 27 years later. So, yes, where this film kind of falls short is that you're putting a lot of material into a small space, and that detracts from it somehow. And I'm going to be honest there. But overall, if you're going to see any film this year that is R-rated for the duration of this year, any horror film, it should be it. Best horror film I've seen all year. It's almost October, so we're getting close to that season. It is definitely the movie for you. Great film. I loved it.